Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 553 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself,
I'm doing all right, man.
Sir Tony
Crazy week at work,
Gables.
but at the
What's up,
same
buddy?
time, been digging little bits here and there into Tears of the Kingdom. I know I've got at least a little over 15 hours
Noise.
still played this game. So I'm still digging into a lot of the contents of it. In between that and also being tired during the week and just knocking off with sleep randomly. I mean, yeah, it's just been one of those times and stuff to where I want to play some games, but yet I feel exhausted. But how are you feeling, Tyler?
Doing all right, It's clanging and banging as always. Um, it was a long week, but I'm happy. We got a 3 day weekend here. It's Memorial Day weekend,
Mm-hmm.
so but I'm doing all right otherwise. Drinking a couple beers here. We just did a fun little recording, rewatching the PS3 or the PlayStation 2009 E3 press conference, which will be going up later for everybody to watch. That should be pretty fun. But yeah, they're not doing okay. Um, but Gables,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty big week in gaming. We just gotta get into it.
Yes.
Before we do that, please like, follow, subscribe. Hit all those links. If you're listening to us on a app podcast, Spotify, whatever, look in the links down below. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, all those other fun places. YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, please. Share, tell your friends. Also go down, subscribe to us elsewhere. Download it. Even though if you listen to us on or you watch us, listen to us on YouTube, download us everywhere else. The more you guys do that, the more helps us out. Leave us some reviews, all that. Like I said, really helps us out if you do all that. But Gables,
Mm-hmm.
we just got to get into it, man.
Yep.
Let's talk about that PlayStation showcase.
Alrighty.
Yeah, let's not waste any time.
So
Bef-
where to start?
before we get into it, before like ground level, you know, give me like a 30 to 60-second overall feelings on the PlayStation showcase that we just had.
Okay. So I liked a couple of the reveals. Obviously, the whole Metal Gear Solid stuff was one. The subsequential re-release of the first three games coming autumn, that was great. And at the tail end, I think their whole estimate like one more thing, not one more thing, but God, still trying to remember exactly
With
for
the
what.
Project Q and before we get into our final game, here's Project Q and then the headset.
Okay, probably not Project Q or like the headset or anything else like that, but there's like a couple games that I really liked from that one. The Metal Gear, obviously the Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater and stuff, and also that Phantom Blade Zero. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that aspect of it. But overall, in general, there were a few games that I liked, but it was mostly CGI trailers, like free to play, like live service games and stuff that were imitations of other type of live service games, and it was okay, but there was a lot of things that were disappointing about that showcase.
yeah. I'm completely with you. It was a massive bummer.
Mm.
Um, like these typically, my overall feelings on it. Yeah, it wasn't a terrible showcase because like there's a lot of really good stuff in there. I think
Yes.
there was like 37 things shown. Take off the head the handheld and everything. 35 games. Take out the VR stuff. Talking like I think like 31 games, something like that. And I think the issue was like 23 or 24 of those are going to be on other consoles or PC. But yeah, like it's the thing I would kind of rip Xbox on. Really, the entire Xbox One generation is like on paper, you write everything down, you talk about everything that was shown. It's like that sounds like a great press conference. Like, what's the complaints here? But the issue is like everything that was shown was like third party stuff. It just was shown in an
Mm.
Xbox thing. That's
There's
just
like maybe two first party things in general, that whole entire conference.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like this one. I think there was 6 games shown um, that are PlayStation Studio. One of that was and I think 4 of those were CGI trailers. So,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of those are games that are we are brand new studios and never released the game before.
Yep.
And the other 2 were Bungie games that will also be on Xbox. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, like it, it just kind of felt like PlayStation skipped their own PlayStation showcase. That's kind of how I feel about it. But
It was weird.
yeah, like I would give it like I said, I still enjoy my time. I did a live reaction. If you guys are interested, check it out on the YouTube channel. But um, I was like I was kind of in a little bit in denial where I'm like maybe okay, maybe like because it was supposed to be Wednesday, that day was supposed to be my day off. Ended up having to work and working a 13-hour day. Come home from work, haven't ate dinner yet. It's late at night. Decided like I'm gonna live react to this thing. I've been waiting for this all day. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fantastic. Stay off the internet. And this thing happened. And I was just like, maybe I'm just really tired and kind of grumpy. Like there's no way it was like that I don't want to say bad, but that disappointing. And then like finally this morning I rewatched it and I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Um, but let's just jump into it, Gables. We're gonna run through
Okay.
the stuff one by one. Some of the stuff we can obviously speed through, um, but kind of starting off here. We started off here. We had I was shocked by this one. This one I was actually really excited when we watched it. When I saw this, it was like right away, boom, PlayStation Studios, Haven. I was like, holy shit! Like Haven is a studio that Jade Raymond started, who was from like Ubisoft. She was like
Yes.
one of the main people behind the early Assassin's Creed games and the first two Watch Dogs. Then she left, went to Google, and obviously everything with Google Stadia happened, and she was just, that game was just never seen the light of day. And it kind of seems like she took a lot of the people from that team that was laid off to make Haven Studio, which was just put together in 2021, and so kind of like they took like the remnants of that and like we're kind of basically making that game for PlayStation now. So we got a game called Fair Games, fair with
Mm-hmm.
the S being a dollar sign, of course. And I watched this. I'm like, this looks like immediately like it's all CGI, but I'm like immediately like this looks like Watch Dogs. It sounds like Watch Dogs. You know, trying to take hacking, trying to like take steal from the rich. But then like you start seeing, okay, but we knew they're making a multiplayer game. But then like you see these people like getting into a vault, and then you see, like uh, three people working together get into a vault, rob the rich person, and then they find another team of three people also trying to get in that vault. So it looks like it's like a PvP VE style game. Um, it said it's coming to PS5 and PC. No release window, no year, nothing like that. But like I said, this game, the studio literally was built like started in 2021. So I was shocked to see it at all. But just kind of starting off like when I initially saw this, I'm like, okay, this is wow. Okay, starting off with Haven, that's pretty incredible. I thought it was gonna be a really good like was beginning of something really cool here, and then
A
is
live service game.
yeah. I mean, this is kind of I don't know. I mean, kind of how did you feel like seeing this Haven CGI trailer?
I thought it was Payday 3. I
Yeah,
honestly thought it was Payday 3 because his initial heists, you had different masks and stuff you could wear. Obviously, what you were mentioning earlier and stuff about it like being like another game entirely itself. I mean, I was getting the same vibes as well. And quite honestly, I had not remembered that Haven was actually Jade Raimi's like studio and stuff until you just mentioned something. But that's even more disappointing when you think about it because it's like I understood that Sony had a bunch of different like live service games they were in development with over the past couple of years, and then have this one front and center to start off the show even before like the initial start of the show. You know, it definitely felt generic. It definitely did not feel well fleshed out, and quite honestly, it kind of turned me off a bit from it.
yeah, yeah. Like we've heard all this stuff. I've been talking about this for a while about PlayStation under the Jim Ryan kind of helm here of like every time that guy talks, it's obvious that like he's not a gamer. Like he comes from a different area, which isn't the be
He's a
all end all.
businessman.
Yeah, I mean, which is not to be like obviously like you look at the early days of Nintendo, those guys weren't gamers. Like the people running Nintendo, they were just
No.
they're businessmen. I mean, a lot of shit they did were pretty fucked up in the '90s
Hmm.
to developers and competitors, but um, like they were able to see the stuff that made money and but also make great games for people. Um, and so it's not necessarily one on one, but like they're obviously we've seen like the Don Matrick era of like Xbox. Like
Yep.
there's totally different, two different sides. Completely anything can happen. Um, but my issue was like he always whenever he talks, he's just the guy just sounds like a robot. He does like coming from like Iwata, Reggie Fils-Aimé, Uncle Phil Spencer, and like Andrew House, Bill Trenton, stuff like that. It's like
Or
this
even
guy,
like Jack Trenton,
Jack Trenton.
it's
Yeah.
like
Um,
every time I hear Jim Ryan talk, I just imagine him having like a freaking knife about to stab me in the back.
yeah. Like this guy. He like every time he talks about like they have like a dozen live service games out there. And it's like they're so. I mean, look, I don't blame any big publisher and developer for trying to get in, like, because like if you make something that's
Yes.
just like a marginal success, like that is huge money. Like talk about how big like these games will make hundreds of millions of dollars, possibly $1 billion every year for multiple
Right.
years, instead of just being really hot for like a few weeks, make a ton of money in that few weeks, and then you have a little bit of money trickle in over time. But it's like, all right, well, we'll hear from me in 6 years. Like you can constantly have that. Like I get it. I don't blame you for trying it, but like what sure is like when you talk about a dozen games, and then you see like Japan Studio getting shut down a couple years ago. Pixel Opus just got shut down, or they announced shutdowns a couple weeks ago. But they're gonna be shut down in June. Deviation, who was making a game for them, that they bought, I believe in 2021, had over 100 people work from. They laid off 90 people and canceled their game. They were making a live service game. Um, yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously you got to throw a few out there. Like some are gonna, a lot are gonna fail, but like I don't know. This is just the first time where like we're starting to see like the things I've been talking about. I've been concerned about. Like I don't think like this is not like a doom situation here where like they're completely fucked, but like I think the other quality games that they built their empire on the last 15 years, that have like these AAA high quality games that they've been like single player third person action games that they've been really kind of been the thing they built, really like the second half of the PS3, the entire PS4, and so far the PS5 generation have been built upon.
Mm.
um but I mean, I don't know, that's like,
It just feels like a shameless chasing of trends.
yeah. And it's like we've seen this year as like the kind of the year where these live service games have kind of like that bubble is kind of bursting a little bit for them. And not that like,
Especially when like three to four of them are like closing the span of a year.
yeah, like I mean we've already heard, I think, about around 10 pretty like
Yep.
big ones already announced are being shut down this year.
Yep.
So yeah,
Or relaunched.
or relaunch. Yeah, like we see like Suicide Squad basically delaying a year, stuff like that. But I don't know, I mean, just starting off with like, Gables, this is our, by the way, happy 10 years, buddy.
Yeah, happy 10 years.
10 years ago,
2013,
yeah,
dude.
this weekend, Gables, Jake, and I recorded our very first episode. The episode that was never released because somebody forgot to hit record. I won't name names, but they may be in this call, and it wasn't me. But in that episode, we talked about um, the very famous now, the 10 years ago this week Xbox One reveal, and about how
Yep.
bad that was. And we went to that. And the first episode we ever released was actually E3 2013.
Yep.
And in that episode, the very first episode that was released, I ranted about how much I dislike CG trailers. And
Yes.
still to this day, a decade later, it drives me nuts because I remember like everybody's going crazy over that Sunset Overdrive CG trailer, and I was
Yep.
like, I don't. Now you can't. Not everything is comparable one to one here. But what I'm saying is, when it's at that point, Insomniac was not. They didn't have that Spider-Man. Like they had a lot of great games under them. Don't get me wrong, but like,
Right.
it's like when they did the CGI trailer a couple years ago for Spider-Man 2. It's like, okay, well, we already know what you can do with Spider-Man. Like you've already made two phenomenal Spider-Man games. Spider-Man, one of the biggest IPs in the world. Here's Venom. Here's Craven. It's like, all right, get hyped for that, like it's happening. But when we see CG trailers for developers that aren't like these big time developers for unknown for IPs that are new or not well known or whatever. But the fact, like, we're looking at Haven here, a brand new studio with Jade Raymond, who like she made a lot of games I love, but she hasn't put a game out in over a decade.
That's
Um,
true.
Releasing a live service game that is all CG, that we don't even like. We gotta like figure out what this game is through your CGI trailer. It's like, This is like it drives me nuts. I hate when I'll hear people say that game looks fantastic. I'm like, we didn't see the fucking game. It's a brand new
You didn't
developer
see anything.
making a brand
Just
new
the
IP.
concept.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so funny. 10 years later, here I am still still ranting about that thing. That just drove me nuts. But anyways, moving on to number two here, Helldivers 2 coming to PS5 and PC this year actually. Uh, I thought this actually looks really cool. It is another third person behind the back. Like I know a lot of people love Helldivers back in the day. Like it's more like what's it, isometrical, where it's like more top down.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
it
a
was more like an isometric
it was
one.
like a
Huh.
dual stick like shooter, like kind of more like a Dead Nation back in the day, wasn't it?
Yep,
I
sort of like that.
I just remember a lot of people. The big complaint about that game was like it was extremely hard, and also friendly fire is always on. Is the two things I know about that game. But I love this trailer. I thought it was incredibly funny. It was basically just Starship Troopers. But I thought the game looks
Hmm.
really good. It's just a matter of like, what are these games free to play? Are these like they paying for these games? Like I think a Helldivers 2 will actually be like it's going to PS5 and PC. Like this would be a perfect like PS Plus game.
Yes, it would be.
Like, cause I would love to like just dick around this game, but like I don't know, like these ones, like these smaller, like stuff like this, like we actually got gameplay here. I don't know, like didn't bother me as much, and like I know there's a lot of people out there that love Helldivers, but I don't know. I thought it looked really good. The comedy was fun. It was really good, but like I also wonder like, is the comedy in the game? Like we see like two people like hugging in the game, but like how much of this
Yes.
comedy is actually gonna be in the game? But kind of what was your feelings on this one?
Helldivers 2, I thought it was all right. I mean, the gameplay of it didn't really capture me as much as like some others, but at the same time, I thought it was more like a generic sort of like third person sort of shooter squad based game
Yeah,
from what it looked like. I mean, it did its job for what it initially was aiming for and stuff, but I thought it was okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, like, I'm not saying like I think this game's gonna be like a high eight, but like I'm looking at this game like it's gonna be a good 7.5. Play for a weekend, kind of move on kind of game. That's kind of what I want.
Yep.
But these like slicer stuff, you can't really do that. So, um, moving on here though, we had Ascendant Studios. They have a new trailer for Immortals of Avium. That's the EA original game, coming July 20th. Coming to everything though. Um, I'm actually like interested in this game. Like I thought it looked really good. That this is the one with like they're shooting all the shit out of their hands. Like, uh, but I don't know. Like I feel like I'm being like I'm worried now. Like I'm kind of like concerned after like I I was pretty hyped for like Forspoken and Ghostwire Tokyo for kind of similar reasons, and like so now I'm like, well, this one's more single player. This is a single player game. Like it's not like open world and things like that. Like those games were, but like I was so like the visuals of those games really sold me, and I was like, oh, okay. The rest of the games were like Forspoken's like okay game. It's definitely like a 6.5, but like and like Ghostwire Tokyo is like it's a 7.5 kind of game. It's fine. You can play it, have a good time with it, and then never think about it again. But I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I feel like so far the EA original games have all been good. So um, that's got me excited. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you're at in this one, Gables.
Honestly, that game didn't even really hit any check marks for me at all, man. I thought it looked kind of trying too hard in terms of its plot and stuff like that, and the gameplay of it. The gameplay of it looked okay, but at the same point, I just didn't like the whole aspect of the game's presentation, plus its gameplay supposed loop that they were trying to pitch forward with, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where you're right. The EA original stuff have been mostly decent so far, but yet for this one, it feels like a whiff in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like, there's some good talented people behind it. Like, there's a lot of Call of Duty devs behind this game, so
Hmm.
I'm curious to see what that. I'm not like I said. This is like another one of the games. I'm not like I feel like this is like that could be like a 8 out of 10 type of game. Like low eights, or high
Okay.
sevens is kind of what I'm thinking of that thing. Like a good game. Like you pick it up, play, have a good time for say like a weekend or two, and move along. But like I don't know. Fact and plus the fact it's supposed to be like a mainline single player game. That sounds perfect. Next up here, 505 games and one more level announced, or well, not announced. We already knew it was coming, but we got some first time. We got some gameplay for this of Ghost Runner 2. That's coming this year. One of those games that kind of like passed me by. I know like it was big on PC and like it got ported to the PS4 and Xbox One, and I guess it kind of struggled on there. And then they did like
Yeah.
a next gen update, and those versions work really well. Um, it was on PS Plus I want to say about maybe about last year sometime. So it's a game that we I got Ghost for the first one was. So it's a game that we can probably all check out. Like that game looks fantastic. Like
Yes.
it kind of looks like more of an action style Mirror's Edge to me, which also sounds cool. It's just kind of one of the games I kind of miss. So I don't know, maybe like I go back and check out Ghost Runner. But I mean, visually looking at this game looks stunning. I don't know, like I said, just one of those things. I've also heard like people get like have issues like motion sickness from this one, so that scares me a little bit. What about you?
I thought it was fast paced and looked fairly interesting, because when you saw it initially, I thought there were aspects of it that kind of looked more like a Destiny, but when I initially saw the opening sequence plus like the teasing of gameplay where you're just driving down this building and stuff like that, going from this one goal to the other goal or something like that, did the little check marks and stuff like that. I thought it looked fairly cool,
Yeah,
fairly high pace and stuff. But then again, that's what the Ghost Runner game previously, the first one, was kind of known for, was like that whole one more level sort of vibe where you're going through trying to navigate things as quick as possible. So yeah, it looked fairly good.
yeah. Definitely, curious to kind of see what it. But I mean, I know there's a big fan base behind it, so I'm sure that game's gonna be really good, and yeah, hopefully it runs well on the consoles. But next up here, S Games. Now this is one of the games you talked about. You were excited for Phantom Blade Zero. It's coming to PS5. I don't remember if it said it's coming to other consoles. I'll have to look that up. But kind of premise behind this one is like your character only has 66 days to live. From what like there was a press release about this. Sounds like something happened and he ends up like he's like dying, and then somebody uses something to like save his life, but he only has but like it saves his life, but it like really only like gives him 66 days to live. And it's basically sounds like a revenge story. But I mean, this game looks fantastic, like visually. The combat looks awesome. Part of me wonders like how much of this is like real, how much of this is like cutscene like stuff. It looks like somebody made Metal Gear Rising in Sekiro.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from that as well. I kind of akin it more to like a Ninja Gaiden fused like with certain aspects of say Dark Souls, to where it's like the action's fast paced, and a lot of the sword combat and like a lot of the various sequences from like say like running up a wall or something, jumping to another portion
Mm-hmm.
only to like slash into an enemy on the other side. I mean, all in one motion. That type of stuff I really enjoyed seeing, because it was like almost candy for the visual sense, to where it's like you see a whole bunch of random action stuff appearing on the screen, but even like when you're battling, it seemed like when you're with your character, when you're battling against like a couple different ones, like a couple of different opponents and stuff, and then you're just doing a whole bunch of like swords, like quick sword slashing motions and stuff, like seamlessly without having to like go into some sort of canned animation or go into some sort of crazy ass like shifting of like different weapons in order to adjust on the go. That kind of impressed me in some ways. But I do know there are specific type of games that do something similar to this, but their whole but those type of action games don't generally like perform too well in terms of the cohesiveness in regards to all the way through in those type of action.
Mm-hmm.
But from what we initially saw though for like Phantom Blade Zero, visually looks pretty good. I mean, the character models look excellent inside this game. The action looks fast paced, and quite honestly, it looks like it could be a pretty punishing game and stuff if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But the quick reflexes and everything else and stuff like that. I mean, from the initial trailer that we saw, this is one of the few that actually had like decent gameplay associated with it, other than like some sort of CGI trailer, this or that, and that kind of impressed me a bit.
Yeah, so I did look it up. It's coming to PC, but they haven't confirmed it's PS5 exclusive, but they also haven't said if it's coming to Xbox. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious how this game's gonna work out because like so like Phantom Blade is like a franchise already, but like this studio's like only worked on this on Phantom Blade on mobile and PC. So so this is like kind of their first
Oh wow.
foray into like a big AAA kind of market. So curious how it works out. Like it's definitely like I mean it looks great. It's just like a matter of like we see them just Souls like games are like so popular now. That's just
Yes.
kind of like okay, another one. But I don't know. Like I'm gonna be open minded to it. But I don't like foresee this game being something I get into. But I don't know. Like I put 40 hours in the wall long this year, so anything is possible with me. Um, but yeah, like I don't like I definitely like I think it could be really good. It's just maybe not a me game. A game that looks like a me game though. Sword of the Sea. So this is from Giant Squid, the people that made Pathless and Abzu, but they were a bunch of people that worked on the original Journey, spun off to make
Hmm.
their own studio. Uh, I thought Abzu was good. It wasn't like nowhere near Journey. It was kind of like underwater Journey. The Pathless was like visually stunning, but I never really didn't really. I put a couple hours of it. It was like a PS5 launch game, and I just didn't really love it like I was hoping I would. But Sword of the Sea looks fantastic. Like you're like kind of like snowboarding almost on sand and on like a sword, and then like there's a half pipe, and you're going up like, and then there's like one part of the trailer where like you're like kind of going down a sand dune, and it's just basically like that Journey shot all over again, which
Yes, it
exactly
is.
was what they were going for. This is coming to PS5, no release window or anything like that, but um, definitely a game that I'm super pumped to check out because like I love just like anything anybody else played Journey, absolutely adore that game, and it's been too long since we've had like a good one of those from anybody. I don't when's the last time that game company put a game out? Like they had that
Let's see. It's actually been a while
they
ago,
had that
but
one that was like they made for Apple. I think it was called it's like Sky something.
I think so.
Yeah, Sky is what it's called, but like it's on Switch as well. But yeah, Journey, Flower, um, yeah. Anyways, um, I think it looks really cool. What about you, Gables?
Yeah, I think it looks cool as well. Just want to see what other stuff that they're going to be showing from this game between now and like launch.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully it's not too far off. Yeah, I don't think it's this year, but hopefully we get to see some more of that. Not too distant future. Another game coming here. From Crow Team. The Talos Principles 2. It's coming to everything.
Yes.
Um, I remember like I've seen a lot of this game. A lot of people talk about like they love this game. It's a puzzler. I heard it's incredibly hard. Um,
Mm.
but like I know a lot of people love these games. Like I said, I've seen a bunch of people play these. Like I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. It looks great, but like just I'm not a big like puzzler in that sense. Like in these type of puzzles, but like kind of the robot trying to like solve this, move on, like unlock the mystery of what's going on in this world. What about you, Gables? This tickle any fancies?
Not really, only because I never really got into the first game and stuff, and so the second game really didn't like do anything for me.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, it's more of it's definitely a more of a niche game, I think. Another game though, very much a niche game. If you like watching dogs die, we got the game for you, Neva. This game coming in 2024. It's coming to everything, including Switch. This is the game the developers Gree, no Nomada Studio. I played Gree back on Switch when it first came out. Like that game is fantastic. Like looks fantastic. Kind of fell off of it after a couple hours though. Just I don't know. I didn't have anything negative to say about it. Just didn't like stick with me. But one of those things. This is a CG trailer. No idea what's going on. No idea what this game is. Uh, like just a dog dies. Which immediately, fuck this game. That's kind of how I feel about it. What about you guys?
Yeah, I didn't really have too much opinion about it. It was a nice animation, but at the same time, it was another CG trailer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's it.
It's like another pet peeve of mine, especially when you have a CG trailer. Like I was saying, you may agree, but at least like give me an idea what the genre is of your fucking game when you put out a CG trailer, I guess. Um, Cat Quest, Pirates of the Caribbean. Great name, fantastic name, by the way. It's coming in 2024
Yes.
to all platforms. Um, looks cute, looks cool. It looks like a really good, like, nice little cozy game. Sometimes like we're so worried about like all these like big, huge games we're gonna play that sometimes are like we just miss and gloss over those nice little cozy games. And God damn it, we all need them every now and again. Like I played a game called
Sure.
Ravenlock a couple weeks ago. It's on Game Pass. 100% it, like 3 hours. Super easy, like fun little like action adventure game. Like kind of like based off like Alice in the Wonderland. Um, Great little game. Love that game. Had a great time with it. And this looks like that. I heard like these games like there's been other ones of these already, and I heard they're actually really good. And I don't know, this one kind of stuck with me a little bit. I don't know. I might check it out when it comes out. What about you?
Um, it's a possibility, but at the same point, I'm just I don't know, man. It's like I'm just really not too sure in regards about this game. But yeah, I probably would give it a shot, just for out of curiosity or something.
Uh,
But yeah, it just goes along with the theme that I felt throughout this PlayStation like this showcase in general and stuff. There's like maybe a few things that really interest me, and everything else sort of like just bored me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those ones where it's like. I mean, that's like most showcases though. It's like it's always like you're gonna show up a bunch of shit. Like if you can just find a handful of things that like kind of stick with you, like that's a pretty good showcase. So this is one that I'm not like it's not high up on my list, but like I don't know, like kind of looks like a little fun game. Like I said, every now and again we need a nice little cozy game to play. It's not gonna
Yeah.
stress us out any. Just have a good time and relax. So their game though, Gables, the game of the show. Honestly, I was watching. I did the live reactions. I was like, is this Splatoon? And then it was actually Splatoon, Gables. Square Enix. First, I freaked out because I saw Square Enix. I'm like, is this? I thought it was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was like, oh, and it was not. Um, Foam
You want to know what's
Stars.
funny?
Yeah.
You want to know what's funny? Before they unveiled this game and stuff with Maximilian Dude and stuff, like the chat was teasing. It was like, it's the bouncer too. It's like, oh, fuck you,
Oh yeah,
chat.
because of the neon. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Um, but yeah, Foam Stars is a 4v4 online party shooter. It is basically it is literally a Splatoon ripoff, but it's foam instead, and you surf instead of like swim in the paint and ink. Um, Even like the powers you have, like the power, like special abilities you have, are just ripoffs. Gables. Honestly, I respect it because it's such a like they aren't even like trying to hide the fact they're ripping off Splatoon. They're just going for it. And honestly, I respect it more for just going full bore instead of like copying it like 70%. Like just rip it off. Like the game sells super well. This game, I wouldn't be shocked if this game is actually I'm not gonna say this game's like gonna be anywhere near the popularity as Splatoon. I'm not arguing that, but like I wouldn't be shocked if this game actually like does well in Japan because like obviously like I think Splatoon like around 80% of the sales are in Japan, so I wouldn't be shocked this game has a nice little bump there. Um, I don't know. The game looks like whatever. I don't even know if the game's gonna be good, but I don't know. Maybe they're gonna do such a good job of copying Splatoon. It's actually gonna be actually pretty decent. Um, but how you feel about this one?
Dude, this is just like a this is just like a freaking like shameless clone of Splatoon. Everything they mimicked almost everything in regards to Splatoon, other than its name, and also other than like the thing with ink. It's just a bunch of foam, different colored foam. There's a contemporary colors and stuff like that. The clashing of colors that contrast from one another for each team's
It was like
side.
a pink and
There's
like a
all
white though. It wasn't even like that.
no, it
Even
was pink and like a green.
yeah.
It was like a
Oh, was it
green,
green?
but
Okay, I thought it was like a white.
yeah, and all this it seemed like all the specials you see in the trailer were ones taken directly from Splatoon itself, only they kind of reworked it in terms of like the stuff. It just really felt like an asset flip of like just replacing the name, replacing the squid kids and stuff, and just having like these strange human characters and stuff like that are just ultra shiny and stuff, doing all this foam star shit like like in their courses and everything. This is the kind of game and stuff to where this is just the kind of game and stuff to where it just felt like it was incredibly lazy, but also incredibly like kind of desperate in terms of trying to start a specific kind of like appeal for like just having other consoles version of Splatoon,
Mm.
quintessentially, foam star stuff. Just it just really seemed like that it was just dumb, completely
Oh
just
yeah,
dumb.
I don't think this game's gonna be like great or anything, but like I said, I
I give
just
it a year.
what?
I give it a year.
Oh, I thought you said game of the year. It's like I'm gonna hold you
Oh no
to
no no no.
that. But yeah, no, like I said, I respect it just because how shameless they are about it. Honestly, it's like at least they're
Hmm.
just like they're not even trying to hide it from us. So I respect it for that. But yeah, incredibly funny.
It's I know it's just different enough to where Nintendo's not going to chase after them legally
Yeah,
for
like
it.
really, it's like I mean, especially Nintendo. They're probably calling like Nintendo of America law office and like,
Dude,
can we sue for this?
you want to know what's hilarious? What if this game actually did come out upon like Nintendo Switch?
Oh, I'm sure they wouldn't allow it. They're like, fuck off. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not even trying to be a dick, but this game, like graphically, I don't think this game would even run on a Switch. So, um,
Nah, not well.
yeah. Or they could put it on the cloud. That'd be funny. Um, but moving on here, Gables. So, like I said, I I try to watch the next trailer multiple times, Gables, but
Hmm.
Plucky Squire, that game looks fantastic. We've seen
Yes,
it.
it
We've seen it
does.
beforehand. It's coming to everything. Um, but this game will forever be known as the game that followed Foam Stars to me because I honestly don't know what happened in this trailer because every time I see it, I think of Foam Stars, and like I even pulled up the trailer by itself to just watch it on its own, and I just think about the fact that this game followed Foam Stars. So
Wait,
I have no
see,
idea
I'm
what happened.
almost the exact opposite to where I feel like this thing actually alleviated and kind of excelled after Foam Stars showed before it because now I had like a set piece of what I don't want to play and touch for the entirety, and then all of a sudden you have this game that almost looks like a masterpiece in comparison.
Gables, if Foam Star is out by Extra Life, I'm gonna make you play it with me
uh,
for 24 straight hours.
oh Jesus Christ, no.
I'm gonna make you stream it for 24 hours straight.
Yeah, 24 hours straight, and all of a sudden I'll just like, uh, don't play this game. Just play some Splatoon
By the end of it,
instead.
you're gonna love this game. I bet it. I bet you will.
Oh
But
God.
anyways, Plucky Squires, that game looks like we've seen it before. That game's gonna be fantastic, I'm sure. Um, at least I hope it is, because that game looks gorgeous. I love the being on the picture book and all that. Yeah, everything about it looks awesome. There's an ad in the
Mhm.
thing I'm going through now of Starbucks, and I just really want a Starbucks coffee right now. It looks so good. It's a cold brew, and they got the sweet cream foam. Oh, Poppy, Daddy wants. Anyways, moving on. Teardown coming to PlayStation 5 in 2023. Um,
Mhm.
I have never heard of this game before, but it's been on PC for a while. I guess it's an early access. This game is actually like extremely popular. It's just one of those things like
Oh.
it's one of those games that like just not in our world that we're console gamers. So you look like there's those games in the PC market and the mobile market that we've never heard of that are extremely popular, and this is just one of them. But it's like I don't know. I guess like you do a lot of heists, but it's like you could build a lot of shit and like it's a kind of like Minecraft, but like with you can do heists with it. But yeah, I think it looks cool. It's just a thing that I don't think I'll ever play.
Yeah, it's the same aspect with me where it looks like a cool concept, but at the same time I'm not into it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's free or something like that, or if like some like maybe I'll check it out. Like it could be a fun thing to dick around in with some friends, but I don't foresee myself ever jumping into it by myself. Um, Next up, a game though I do see myself jumping into multiple times. Uh, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater Gables. The rumors are true.
Hmm.
It's coming to everything though. Um, we had that weird trailer where there's like an ant and then they're eating a frog and the frog gets picked up by the bird. And then I freaked out because then I realized the bird is actually the bird from the end, not
Hmm.
the end of the game, but the character of the end. Then it gets eaten by a
Hmm.
snake, and then you see actual snake. Um, I talked about this last week when we talked about like what we were expecting from this thing, and my worst case scenario of it, other than not showing up, was just a CG trailer. It was
Hmm.
just exactly what we got. Uh, we got
Yep.
we got a CG trailer, and then there was a press release by Konami where they talked about they had a thing like kind of what's going on with this from the development team, but they never say who the development team is. We have no idea who's making this game. There's been the leaks out
Yeah,
there of the Virtuous team,
we don't.
and there's been like some stuff that they've accidentally leaked about them working on the game. So it sounds like they're making it, which are a Korean team based out of South Korea. That like most of them known for ports, but so it sounds they say that the original voice cast will be there, but no idea if they're just reusing those assets or if they're like re-recording stuff. If it's gonna be, it sounds like it's gonna be more of a one for one remake, like just completely redoing the graphics, but it's gonna be just straight what the original game was, which I've talked about over the course of the last few years now since these leaks happened, where like Kojima's not involved. This is kind of what I want. I instead of them trying to do what they think Kojima would do, I'd rather them, because this is from an unfamiliar team that doesn't have like a lot of work on these type of games. That I mean, I wouldn't trust anybody. Like I don't know if I would trust Naughty Dog or Santa Monica Studios, some of my favorite studios, to make a remake with this in their own image. So
Right.
I don't know. Like there's a lot of people concerned about this game. A lot of huge, I've talked about like Metal Gear Solid is my favorite franchise of all time. Growing up, it's the reason I'm a gamer today. I like a lot of other people, and a lot of people are like super nervous about this or upset about this, and it's like I'm going into it trying to be optimistic. Like we've seen the screenshots, it looks gorgeous. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna try to be optimistic about it until we start seeing some stuff, hearing some stuff. Like as far like visually hearing and seeing some stuff, I'm gonna remain optimistic. Um, but yeah, like I'm just like, and there's been some talk about like, they talk about the Delta thing, like basically it's a new beginning, and there's been questions like even I've questioned like why they starting with three, and I heard someone say like oh they're gonna start with three because they're gonna go in order of the games, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because like, I understand like you have a lot of people jumping into these games, so you want to start at the beginning of the timeline, which I can get that part. But the problem is if you go from three to then five, unless you do Peace Walker in there, because Peace Walker is the second game of the
Hmm.
Big Boss trilogy, and then five. But then you also like if you go to five and then go to one, it doesn't make a lot of fucking sense because you got to also have Metal Gear 1 and 2, the NES games in there. So there's this franchise. I mean, the franchise doesn't make a lot of sense in general. There's a lot of retconning in this franchise. And I love it regardless, but there just is honestly. Um, but I don't understand that either because, like I said, if you go from five to one, still doesn't make any goddamn sense. So I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know. I still don't know why they're starting with three, other than it's probably just the easiest one to do. Um, maybe outside of two. But I'm incredibly excited to see this. What about you, Gables?
Well, absolutely. I'm excited to see Metal Gear, anything inside of anything, even like with the CG trailer itself. Kind of disappointed they didn't show who was initially the one responsible in remaking this game, but also didn't see any type of like gameplay. So it tells me maybe conceptually this game isn't like as far along as what we may believe. So we may have to wait a few years in order to try to see anything in regards to what the initial remake stuff is going to. I was actually more excited, not just for the showing of this trailer, but what came after with the whole Master Collection stuff
Yeah,
of
Volume one.
the Volume
Yeah,
One with first three games.
yeah, and the original Metal Gear games from NES are gonna be in there as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. They took like the Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence version and stuff that did have the MS DOS games, the original Metal Gear, and then Metal Gear 2. Have that alongside of the original Metal Gear Solid, the second one, and also Snake Eater, the third one. So I really like that they are going and re-releasing these games on the modern platforms for everybody to go forth and like play.
Mm-hmm.
No confirmation for a Switch port yet, though that would make a lot of sense playing that on
No reason why
the
not to.
handheld.
Yeah. So I mean, they've done some of these Castlevania ports in the past. Like, what are the price points typically? Like $40, $30?
Well, typically, well, honestly, no. When it came to the Castlevania collections and also the Contra ones, they actually charged about $20
Okay.
for those
All
ones.
right.
But for some of the other collection sets that yeah they were like about the $30 to $40 range. So for this, however, I could see them potentially doing like a $50 sort of thing for like the three, because I'm still thinking that with this initial release, yeah, it's gonna be pretty much like updated ports of like the original games.
It's this 360 Blue Point remasters they did, plus Metal Gear
Yep.
Solid One, which is crazy because like back on 360 for $40 they had two, three, Metal Gear Solid One or Metal Gear One and Two, and then they had Peace Walker HD remastered because that was on PSP for the first time on
Right.
consoles, and that was $40 over a decade ago, and now they're re-releasing this minus Peace Walker. Um, so I don't
Absolutely.
know. Like
I know it's
I'm hoping
weird.
it's like $40. Like I mean, I'm a sucker. I'm gonna buy them anyways because it just sucks that like I bought that thing digitally years ago and I just can't play them now. So it sucks I have to buy them again, but whatever. Like I said, I'm a sucker. I'm gonna buy them again. And yeah,
I think the most exciting thing though about that one is like it was only volume one, meaning
yes.
there's going to be another volume probably released in the next
Um,
year, probably in regards to MGS four or even like Peace Walker and like whichever games. Probably they're going to do like Peace Walker four and five or some
yeah,
shit
that's the
like
only
that. Who
thing.
knows?
The only things that's not there are literally Peace Walker 4 and 5, which and in 5 you can already
Mm,
play on there.
technically, you can,
So
yes.
yeah, like maybe they do like an next gen update kind of thing. I don't know, but yeah, like that just gives me hope that maybe we could finally play Metal Gear Solid 4 natively without streaming it. So um,
Oh, I know, right?
yeah, but I'm super pumped for that. Next up, Dreamlit revealed Towers of Agaspa. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering.
Agaspa or
Agaspa,
something like
maybe.
that.
Yeah, that's supposed to be coming next year to PS5. I thought the game looked gorgeous. I don't really know what we're doing. I love the art design. I love all that. It looks like very much like a Breath of the Wild thing, but like I said, I don't really know. Like, there's a lot of gameplay there. Don't get me wrong, but it's like don't really know what the point of this game is. But other than just they try to make it look like you're playing Breath of the Wild. But what about you?
Nah, didn't have too much interest in it.
Mm. Next up, Final Fantasy 16. We're gonna have a trailer for that. It's coming June 22nd, so it's whatever.
Yep.
Next up though, for me, the actual game of the show, Alan Wake 2, coming October 17th, coming to everything. It will be an only a digital only release. It'll be $60 on consoles, $50 on PC because Epic is making it. It's gonna be exclusive to Epic Game Store. That's why it's $10 less there. But yeah, I thought the game looks fantastic. They said they're actually like this is the first time they're making a survival horror game. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Alan Wake was really more of an action game. It was kind of a combination, but it was still more actiony. But it kind of got looks like they're really going for like kind of like looks like a lot like Resident Evil 2, like the kind of the modern day Resident Evil games we've been getting, like the third person one. So you're bouncing between like an FBI agent and Alan Wake, but that game looks amazing. Like I said, I loved Alan Wake back in the day. I played they did the remaster last year. They put it out. I played it for a couple hours. I'm like, this game does not age super well, but I'm probably gonna go back. Just probably pop it on easy and just run through it, get a refresher of the story. I never did play American Nightmare, but I heard it just wasn't very good. But I might check it out too. I don't know. But yeah, I thought I love this, and cannot wait to play it. What about you?
For Alan Wake 2, I thought this was definitely one of the better games that was shown in that showcase in regards to a lot of the various intrigue about the game, the different switching of the different characters. It looks like it's going to be a bit more tense than what the original game was from initial things that I've seen. And quite honestly, yeah, I think this is going to be a game that's going to be fairly important in regards to one of the later launch games of the year. So I think it's going to do fairly well. And quite honestly, I was really impressed with what I did see.
Yeah, and perfect time for Halloween too. So um,
Yes.
next up though, unfortunately coming out 5 days before that, October 12th, coming to everything, including last gen, Assassin's Creed Mirage. This is the smaller one. Apparently from the leaks, it's supposed to be about a 25-hour game if you want to do like a lot of side stuff too. But it's kind of going back to the OG Assassin's Creed games. It's much smaller, like I said.
Yes.
He plays Bassin, who is a character from Valhalla. This is a prequel to that. Apparently, this was originally supposed to be DLC, and it kind of expanded and blew up into its own game. I believe it's gonna be a little bit cheaper too. Originally, I think it was like $50. I don't know if it is now. It was delisted after the game got delayed, so I don't know if they changed the pricing or not. But like, it just looks like it's a lot more stealth based. You're sitting on a bench, Gables. You're sitting on a fucking bench like you did in Assassin's Creed in the first like four, which is awesome. Uh, I I am so like hopeful that this game is actually what I want it to be because um, yeah, those like the first like handful of Assassin's Creed games I absolutely adore, and it'd be awesome like just that they're maybe throwing us a bone here. What about you?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. As long as it's fun and stuff, and not like overly stuffed with all this different content or something, or not repetitive or something. I mean, I'd be interested in trying it because it's like it's akin to classic Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
games, but what they change inside of here in terms of like the weapon accessibility and stuff, the gameplay loop of it being hopefully not too monotonous and stuff. But I'm really interested in seeing if they wedge some form of a microtransaction inside this game,
They said there'd
regardless
be
of it
no
being an original.
microtransactions a while ago, so
Well, that's what they say, but you never know what'll happen after launch.
yeah, true. But I'm like I said, much like Metal Gear Solid Delta, I'm gonna be trying to be optimistic about this one because God damn it, I
Right,
want it
right.
to be, and I need it. I need it so bad. It's been since Gables. I'm gonna get it. Don't tell me what the name is.
Okay.
Syndicate.
Yay, there
Fucking
you
right,
go.
Gables.
Syndicate.
Took me a decade to finally remember that goddamn name. Luckily, on our 10-year anniversary, I finally remember the name of that goddamn game. But yeah, I'm so hopeful this game is actually as good as it looks, and as actually what I want it to be. But yeah, it's one of those things. Unfortunately, like it's like I've wanted forever, but it's like, fuck, it's right for Alan Wake, and then apparently Spider Man's gonna be around there too. So it's a rough time. Um, but it's definitely that's gonna be a must play for me, eventually. Um, but next up here we had from the creators of Night in the Woods. Revenant Hill. It's coming PS4 and PS5. It is apparently, it sounds like it's almost like Animal Crossing in a way, where like, but it's like with witches, Gables. I don't have a fuck clue. There was a blog post about it. I read it.
Mm,
Um, yeah,
seems too weird for me.
yeah. I don't know. Like Night in the Woods. I thought the game was very charming. I liked it. I kind of fell off after a while. I know, but I know that's got like pretty hardcore audience behind it that love that game. So yeah, I mean, good luck to them. I hope it works out for them. Next up here, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink coming this year, PS4 and PS5. Anything on that one? I got nothing.
Well, honestly, for that one, this is more like an improvements of like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus and stuff. So basically, they just redid a whole bunch of the battle system. They tweaked a lot of different characters in terms of combos, in terms of things with flows, inserted some more game mechanics into it. This is just like a long story short, though, but they did a lot of vast improvements, including the net code of the game. So Arc System Works has been really making a big effort to try to go and put a lot of rollback net code and stuff inside of their older games, especially when it comes to say like Dragon Ball Fighters and also this game here, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, being a couple of them that they're trying to aim for. So what this relink thing has to majorly have to do and stuff is kind of like a reworking of like the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus and stuff, and improving on just key things. And it looks fairly interesting, you know. It looks fairly good. It feels like that the combat has gotten a little bit more smooth from what I saw from the other game when that one launched. But yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, Street Fighter 6. We're getting a trailer for that one. That comes out, I believe, on Friday.
Yes,
Um,
it does on the second.
yeah. So just another little reminder that's coming. Ultros. It's that psychedelic game. It looks like it's coming to PS4, PS5, and Steam. Looks like if you took acid and played Hollow Knight.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I mean, I have no like issues against the game. Looks really cool. Love the art design, all that. Just not a game I'm going to be into. So,
Yeah.
but okay, more to you if you like that game. Tower of Fantasy. Is coming as a cyberpunk open world game. This game has been on PC for a while now. It's supposed to be
Hmm.
like what's that fucking really popular anime free to play game that's like Breath of the Wild.
Genshin
Genshin
Impact.
Impact, yeah, it's like their like version of Genshin Impact. That's coming to PS4 and PS5 this summer. But I don't know. I got nothing to add on that one. Gables, anything for you?
Not
Yeah,
really. I don't really play those type of
yeah.
games.
Dragon's Dogma 2 finally got a actual gameplay trailer for that one. It got revealed last year that it was in
All
development.
right.
Um, it is coming to everything as well though, but it looks really good. I never got Dragon Dogma. Dragon's Dogma is this game that kind of passed me by, but I did actually pick it up last year for the 10th anniversary. They had it on sale for like $4 or something on PlayStation, and I
Yep.
bought it. I've yet to play it, but uh, people that like it absolutely love it. So
Yes, they do.
it's definitely one of those things that the people really adore. But I heard it's kind of weird, maybe a little difficult to get into, but oh, I mean, I might check it out, but I love the trailer. Looks really good. They're actually Capcom. This is like, I believe the first game they're using the Reach for the Moon engine that
Mm.
or I guess RE engine. This is the first game they're using in that's not Resident Evil game. So um,
Huh.
I could be wrong about that, but I believe it's the first one, if not the second one. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks great. Anything you want to add on that one, Gables?
Well, honestly, to be perfectly to be perfectly frank, though, I thought that Dragon's Dogma 2 looked pretty freaking good. A lot of the gameplay aspects with what we saw. I mean, some of the cutscenes, I understand some of the story stuff, but it looks like it's every bit as better as like the original stuff from when that came out around. Oh God, like years ago at this point.
Yeah, over a decade now at this point. So.
Yes.
Uh, Next up here, we got to the VR section. Five Nights at Freddy, Help Wanted 2 is coming later this year. Resident Evil 4 VR mode is in development. It's going to be free for people that have already bought the game, which we've already known was in development. They announced it last year. Um, Arizona Sunshine 2, it's a zombie killing game that's coming later this year. Crossfire Sierra Squad, we got some gameplay for that. No details, but
Hmm.
a launch date or anything. And then we got another action shooter, Synopsis. I think I might be saying that wrong. That's actually coming July 4th. It's got David Hayter and Jennifer Hale are the
Wow.
lead actors in this one. Gables, um, someone said that Jennifer Hale is actually the name, the voice of Meryl in Metal Gear Solid.
Hmm.
I did not know
Yeah.
that actually, which is
Oh yeah.
pretty crazy. So, um,
Oh yeah. She voiced her. She also voiced the character of like a Mary J. Watson side of the Spider-Man games
oh
for
yeah, yeah.
Activision.
Oh,
Let's see,
Activision.
for the 64 and the PlayStation.
Yeah,
Yes.
so pretty crazy. But they're the voice actors for this one. Just a lot of oh, and Beat Saber they're getting is actually now out on PSVR. The cool thing is if you bought PSVR
Hmm.
on the original on the first VR headset for PlayStation, you get a free upgrade to VR 2, which is awesome. Then there's also
Hmm.
Queen DLC is out now for that as well if you want that. So just a lot of I don't for I'm pretty much fully out on VR, so I'm pretty, I guess, biased on that sense where I don't think anything's gonna sell me on it, unless Metal Gear Solid 6 is exclusive and Kojima made it. Uh, but I don't know, like it's looked like a lot of shooting games, and Beat Saber, so not
Yeah.
really kind of move the needle for any. I don't think for a lot of people. What about you?
I'm in the same boat. It didn't really move anything toward for me at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious. I would like to hear more about people that actually bought a VR two headset. I have to say about this, but like it's kind of we're not the audience for that stuff. Um, Next up though, Bungie, finally announced Marathon, a game that we've known about for a while. This was actually a game that NetEase was actually
All right.
paying for them to make, and then when PlayStation or Sony bought Bungie, basically bought out all their shares, and then they're making Marathon. But Marathon is coming to everything, including Xbox. Um,
Mm.
this is a kind of looks it's a PvP game, extraction shooter, much like like Rainbow Six Extraction, stuff like that. You go in, you have a mission, go and solve the mission. Depending on how guilty you want, depending on how much you want to push it. If you push it too hard, you die, you lose everything. But if you want to keep going, you can get more and more stuff. But yeah, I don't know, like it was a CG trailer. I'm sure it's gonna be great because I mean no one's better at this than Bungie as far as like live service stuff. But I'm curious, but I don't know, like I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. What about you, Gables?
Honestly, I was excited about that game until it was revealed that it was a PvP extraction shooter. Then I lost all interest.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I imagine it'll be free to play though. At least it'll be a fun game maybe to check out. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's a CG trailer, and I mean, I don't know. There's not much to take away from that one. Next up, though, um, sticking with Bungie, Destiny 2: The Final Shape, which is supposed to be like the finale of that storyline with Destiny from when it kicked off. Nathan Fillion is back with Cade 6, and they announced there'll be a showcase on August 22nd to reveal more about it. How you, Gables? You're the
Right.
Destiny guy. How you feeling?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was kind of interested in seeing like, okay, this CG trailer right here is like, okay, Cade Six is back. What the hell? Because it was welcoming to see Nathan Fillion reprise his role as Cade Six, right? But at the same point, it just got me thinking. It's like, what the fuck are they trying to tease? It was a CG trailer to tease to another event that they're going to have in August and stuff to reveal more of the final shape. I mean, the only thing I really did is like just made me kind of curious about like why Kate Six is back, and also another one is like where the hell are they at? Purgatory or something like
Mm.
that? Because it just seemed like a in between period between like the like life and then like death or something like that. It just seemed like a purgatory that both Akora and like Cade Six are like in the middle of this campfire, just reminiscing about different things. We had this huge pyramid in the background and stuff from like the Witness. But
It's a triangle, Gables. It's the final shape.
yeah, yeah, I know,
I
I know.
don't know. I just like final shape, and I see a triangle. I'm like, okay.
I don't know what's happening other than that though, and kind of honestly, I'll see what's going to go on in August, like another 3 months from now, to learn more about what Bungie's going to be doing, and depending upon what they show, it's going to depend me ever wanting to go forth to play Destiny 2
Mm.
again, because after playing the last expansion and stuff,
Nightfall.
I pretty much lost all interest to play Destiny 2 after playing through that campaign or trying to play through it again after with another character. Because,
It's the
well,
last one, Gables. You gotta play it. Come on now. It's
yeah,
the last
who
one.
knows?
Well, it's the last one
It
of
just
this.
really
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Like, Kate 6. I love Nathan Fillion. So I think that was kind of cool for someone like me that's like kind of like on the outside. Like, oh, that's cool. That's cool to see him come back. But maybe the worst part of the show, Gables, Firewalk Studio, studio
Hmm.
that PlayStation bought pretty recently, but they've been working with them for a while now. But they just fully bought them out. I believe earlier this year. Um,
Hmm.
they announced a game called Concord. It was like it's a completely CGI trailer. This is a brand new studio as well. And they put a game out for. It's coming to PS5, PC next year. Um, there was like that jiggly hamburger. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Fuck this game. Just because like I'm sure the game will be fine. I don't know. But like it's a CG trailer from a studio that is brand new from a game that an IP that we don't know. Um, and a CG trailer that said nothing about the game. At least the Haven CG trailer gave you an idea what the game is, and this literally gave us nothing. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I have nothing to add. You?
Honestly, just felt like they were very restrictive upon what they're going to be revealing in terms with Concord because it just feels like more like a concept more so now than anything, nothing like it doesn't seem like there was really concrete work done.
Yeah, I mean, no idea about any of that, but it's just why is this even here? For I mean, like, if you're gonna
Yeah,
make a CG
exactly the
trailer, at
point.
least give me an idea what the game is. I don't know. Next up, though, we had the Gran Turismo movie trailer. It's coming out, I believe next month, I think. So
And it's every bit as campy as we thought it would
yeah.
be.
Actually, I mean, I think it looks like it'll probably be all right. I don't think it's gonna be like awful, but I'm sure it's just be like a movie that you watch and just, like if it when it comes to like streaming services, like a big movie I'll check out, but like definitely not something I'm rushing to rent or go to the theaters to see. Um,
True.
Next up, though, we have Project Q. That is the remote gaming device that we talked about a couple months ago. It leaked. Um, that's coming for PS5. There's rumors out there it's gonna be coming in November. And then also they revealed the earbuds that they're making for it, which I mean I have the PlayStation 5 headset they made for it, and it's really good. And I imagine be more of the same. Also be really good. The gaming device that's gonna be made for streaming, um, no idea about. Sounds like you need at least like 15 megabytes per second. Battery life is about 4 hours, give or take. Um, and it's like remote play through your console. So it's only games that are downloaded on your console. Um, I don't think this is gonna be something they expect to like be a massive like huge tens of millions of units sold or anything like that. But like I don't know. Like I'm kind of I want to hear more about this thing because I guess uh, I this is a very niche thing, and I'm just wondering how big. Also, what's the price point going to be? Because like if I feel like this thing, like if it's like I feel like 200 is a max of acceptable. Because anything more than that, it's like now it's like I can just buy a Switch, or for $100 more I can get a Steam Deck kind of thing. Or not
Right.
$100 more, but $150 more. At that point, it's like I'd rather just buy a Steam Deck. Um, but I don't know. There's that Asus like Logitech or something, one that's also cloud streaming. That's like $400. So I don't know. I
Yes.
mean, who knows what the fuck the thing's gonna cost? But I mean, PlayStation's probably be a premium price. How do you feel about this one?
What is this product for?
I mean,
I mean, quintessentially, that's the number one thing that circulated through my mind when I saw Project Q revealed at this conference. You have a streaming handheld which has basically like Jimmy Don PS5 controllers stuck onto the damn side of it, so it looks like it has a giant fucking jacket over the tablet itself. Streaming in regards to the PS5 stuff, you're not going to really be able to go through and do it anywhere else other than like say inside of your living room, which then in of itself, if I'm in my living room and stuff, unless like there's a kid that's going to be playing a little bit of something on the PS5 while I'm doing something else, it's like there's really no purpose for this Project Q if you're in the same room where you could just use your controller, just sit in front of your TV and just play this stuff. It's like this would have been better suited if it was like say another if it were like something similar. And that's just a thing. This whole design kind of reminds me of like the Switch or like the Wii U in terms of its big old
yeah,
tablet type of shit. But have it be streaming only, dedicated to the PS5. That puts up a lot of barriers in that regards because it's like it's not like what you can do easily with like the Switch or anything, where it's like you could just have a separate downloaded like tablet or something like that to where you can just play it in bed or carry it with you wherever you go or something. No, no, this just seems like this is going to be an overpriced paperweight for a lot of people that are going to go forth and like try it maybe for like a novelty. And I swear to God, if this thing is over $200, this thing is going to be a complete dud.
yeah. That's the biggest concern. I think if it comes out at a decent price, if it's 150, $200, like I think it's got a decent shot. Like it's definitely not a thing for us. But I think it's for those people that like that.
No,
Like I hear a lot when I listen to podcasts, people have kids, stuff like that. Like, the kids taking over the TV or the wife's taking over the TV or whatever. And it's like cool. Like now they put a Switch on the handheld even at home because, like they got to fight for the TV. So I get that. Or like maybe you travel a lot, so you can use the Wi-Fi through your hotel or whatever, or stuff like that to play this thing. Like I can see that working. Like it says, it's gonna work at 1080, everything like that. You can do 60 frames per second. So I don't.
it really depends though how strong the streaming access of the device itself
Yeah,
is. I mean, if it's consistent in regards to the buffering in terms of like the input delays, they being next to an existent, non-existent at all or something, and does a fairly decent job while say with your Wi-Fi around the house or wherever. I mean that would be a little bit different, but I'm mainly concerned about the consistency of the stream itself. I'm concerned about in terms of the durability of like how long you can actually play this stuff for without the battery going through initial issues and stuff. There's just a lot more questions I have of this Project Q than I have with like any other PlayStation product right at this moment because there's just a lot of new things that they're trying to experiment with, but it feels like that they are missing some key core basic things for this device.
yeah. Oh, well, I think the biggest issue, like, well, not issue, but the thing is that we just don't know anything else about it. We just all we have
Right.
is like physically what it looks like. Which honestly, I don't know. Like it looks goofy. I'm not gonna lie about that, but like honestly, like,
It looks like it's a jacket.
yeah, I mean, it's like honestly, like this is kind of, I mean, just putting a dual sense on it is probably the best solution for it though as well. Instead of trying to make it look up more like a PSP or like just like hey like you're playing PS5 games, let's put a fucking dual sense, cut a dual sense half, stick them on the sides, use ultra hands, stick them to the sides, call it good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean like I don't know. Like this is not a thing I'm interested in at all, but like Uh, I could definitely see where there could be an audience for this, and like I said, the price point, if it's
Right.
acceptable, then it could be fine. But I don't know. Yeah, and the earbuds, I think will actually be really good because, like I said, like
The earbuds look fine
yeah,
to me. I
the
mean, I
case
have
looks
no
awesome.
complaints about them whatsoever.
Yeah, and like they said, that will work for other things. But yeah, like I said, like, it's just a matter of how good the thing is gonna actually gonna run, and also the price point. That's the two biggest things for that thing. But like I said, I don't think this thing is gonna be like a huge like 10, 20 million seller. But like they
No,
probably look at this thing, they're probably thinking like a million or two units sold, and that's probably what they're looking at right now. Um,
that's being optimistic, barring the price of it.
yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, price point uh, bearing for that. Last up here, we had Spider-Man 2 was the one more thing, and this is kind of like when
Mm.
they when Jim Ryan showed up, and he third cousin Jimmy, and he showed up and said before we get to the final game, I think like the air just felt like it sucked out of the room for me. I'm like, oh no. Like my concern going in was like the first, like I was like, okay, fuck, we're only 20 minutes in, we're only 30 minutes in. Like I thought it was actually a pretty good showcase. I'm just like, all right, we're just waiting for more shit to come, and it's like then we get to that and like, all right, for the final game, I'm like, oh, because like, all right, Gables, I wrote down here. Last week I talked about games that I thought were shoe wins to be at the showcase.
Hmm. Yes.
Here they are: Spider-Man 2, Stellar Blade. I can't talk. It's very late. It's 2:20 in the morning. Stellar Blade, Pragmata, Last of Us Factions, Little Devil Inside, Synduality, Pacific Drive, Internights. All games revealed in the last couple of years that had 2023 dates on them.
Yep.
There's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 games I mentioned there. How many of those showed up, Gables?
One.
One. Spider-Man 2. So that was like, I'm like, oh, I'm fully expecting all these games to show up, and it just didn't happen. We got Spider-Man 2. We see Spider-Man fighting in the Venom suit. We got some cool stuff like them like fighting with Reptile. Um, I'm I'm gonna sound entitled here, and I know it. And entitled is like my least favorite word in the English language nowadays. Um, I just felt like I didn't need to see all this because like I love seeing like gameplay for games. Like don't get me wrong, I talk about like I don't like seeing CGI trailers, but like I love seeing like a lot of like long. Like I want I want gameplay for this, but like this is like 13 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
It was a lot.
yeah, like I like gameplay, like good chunks of gameplay for like games that we don't know what they are. Where
Right.
like God of War 2018, they re-revealed that and brought it back. Showed like we had like a 12, 15-minute long gameplay section there, but like that was a completely different game from God of War 3. Like you had to show that. Like that was necessary.
Right.
Or like new IP stuff like that. Are you doing massive changes to your games? You want to show off new things? Like I get that. You want to show off a lot, but this is fucking Spider-Man. And don't get me wrong, this game looks fantastic. I'm
Yes.
gonna love this. I'm gonna play the fuck out of this game. I'm gonna love this game. It's probably gonna be one of my favorite games of the year. Might even be my game of the year. Um, but I was just like, I was like, probably like halfway through this thing. I'm like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. Like, I don't really see any more of this. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like everything I've seen here looks amazing. I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. I just kind of don't want to see any more. One of those things. What about you?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. There was a lot of things I liked about this trailer. I mean, one, it definitely is a even more of like Spider-Man from like the PS4 and also the PS5 stuff with like the original and then Miles Morales and stuff. We did technically have a playable aspect of Venom, and that was Peter Parker being infected by the symbiote and stuff like that to start off the initial run of things. I thought it was pretty cool though. It's like I didn't really know it was Spider-Man at first up until I just saw the full-on image of Craven the Hunter,
Mm,
which that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But I thought what was pretty funny is like you see one of his henchmen shows like him a tablet. He just looks over the tablet, just like kind of smiles kind of menacingly and sees like all this other stuff. That one was weird and out of place, but it was really funny. Like that they went into like this 13-minute gameplay stuff, and a lot of the action looks pretty cool, right? Like the sequences, escaping from the lizard, the whole aspect of of like battling with a whole bunch of like the different Craven's men and stuff like that. But
yeah.
then like the story dynamic and stuff with like Peter Parker kind of dealing with battling with a symbiote and stuff, and a lot of the symbiotes like aggression and stuff visibly showing in terms of his conversations, and also in terms of like being even so more vengeful to try to take on like Craven the Hunter in that regards. Even some aspects of the dialogue, like, "Oh, I'm gonna make him pay for ever coming right over here," blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. That being the symbiote's influence and stuff, and creating all sorts of different things, because that's a different portion of like what happens and stuff when the symbiote goes through and infects like a host or something like that. That a lot of the personality of this alien or something like that go and kind of meld into the actual being of like the person that they
Yeah.
host. So for example, like with Eddie Brock and stuff, he's naturally sort of angry, he's naturally sort of like kind of jealous of like Peter Parker and Spider Man because of the things with Daily Bugle.
Or
So
Eric
it's
Foreman from that '70s show.
well, I'm not really much mentioning that one. I'm mentioning the one from when I used to be a kid watching the TV show for the animated Spider-Man on Fox.
So good.
But yeah, aspects of that, just gets me very excited to play a little bit more of the game. I mean, even tease like a little bit of story elements too, like say Harry Osborn being sick and all this other shit,
Yeah.
and like I am in agreement with you. They did show a bit too much, but I am glad it didn't just end on the CG fucking trailer of this
Yeah. Oh
game.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I wanted gameplay. I wanted to see like how this game would run. Don't get me wrong. I wanted more that you had to have it. But I was just like I said, like about halfway through, I was just like, we can just kind of end this now. I get
Dude,
the gist.
I will say throughout that section stuff with Miles Morales and stuff going and like taking out those henchmen one by one by using these new devices and stuff, like getting like a tightrope sort of swing and stuff, and
The
his like
wingsuit.
the wingsuit looked pretty fucking cool.
Mm.
But yeah, I really like that thing for Spider-Man too.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of it. That was the last thing shown. We kind of talked about overall feelings at the end, but like, yeah, my biggest complaint was just felt like PlayStation didn't show up to the showcase was kind of it. And like, I would,
Yeah,
like I said at the beginning, like on paper, this is like a really great showcase because there's a lot of really cool stuff there. Um, but I come to, I watch Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation showcases for those things. Like, yeah, you can have those things. Like, yeah, we want those other things as well, but like, the main course is the first party stuff, and they just weren't there. Like, I'd say on paper, like looking at it, writing all the shit down, 8 out of 10 showcase. Um, for what it was for PlayStation, I'm like a 6.5.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. This showcase felt fairly restrictive in a lot of things of what Sony wanted you to go forth and see, not only just from them, but also in terms of like the third party stuff as well. We had a lot of CG trailers. We did not have a lot of gameplay in regards to this, other than like say Spider-Man 2 with that 13-minute sort of blowout at the very end, tail end of the showcase. The reveals of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater was a big surprise, and that was fairly enlightening. But we still don't know who's developing that game, and we still don't know certain core aspects of, is this game in conception now? Is this going to be coming out a couple of years from now? I mean, I wasn't expecting a full on release date for the game, mind you, but the aspect of there being like re releases of games that were pretty much based upon like Blue Point's reworked versions and stuff coming later this year. I mean, yeah, that's fine and all that and stuff, but the meat and potatoes here, there was a lot of things being touted up by like supposed like insiders and stuff before this conference came through. I went into this conference having low expectations because you know what? It's like I'm more of a seeing person other than like believing a lot of random rumors and guidelines and all this other crap. But when I think about it, it's like I really would give this showcase like about a 6 out of 10 because this in and of itself did have some good stuff, and I did like some core aspects like Spider-Man 2, like Phantom Blade Zero and stuff, the MGS reveal and stuff. But at the same point, there was either a lot of stuff that didn't interest me or look like a lot of questionable business decisions by Sony in aspects, especially with the Project Q stuff that they're doing. Those earbuds look pretty fine. If I hadn't have bought my Sony headsets that I have so far this past year, I mean, I'd probably be getting something like earbuds or something. But it just feels like overall they were very restrictive and they only wanted you to see a portion of what they have to offer.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, there's been a lot of people talking about maybe being another one later this year. Because I mean, like I said, like
Yeah,
I mentioned earlier, there
it's a
was 8 games
possibility.
there with that are dated that have been at PlayStation events in the like recently. That are supposed to be coming out this year. They're PlayStation exclusives. A lot of them are third party, obviously. That we just that weren't there. So, I mean, obviously delays happen. Take your time. I'm not complaining about that. I'm not saying I want games out today or next month or whatever. But like,
I could
just
see
kind
like
of like
I could see like a state of play like maybe 3 months from now.
yeah, maybe September or something like that. But that might be too late
Hmm.
though for like a lot of these games. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we get another one, a state of play in the summer. I don't know. But people are talking about like, oh, Kiwi's got stuff, and it's just like,
Nah.
part of that is like I feel like maybe you're coping a little bit, but also like
Yeah.
even if say it is some of this the big stuff that we're expecting here is at Summer Game Fest,
I'll be
cross
perfectly honest
promote.
with you. I'm not sure if we're gonna see a lot more stuff from PlayStation during this summer's Games Fest.
Well, they're on the thing for like as
True.
part of like they're gonna be a part of it. There's gonna be something there, but I mean Nintendo's been on it, and all they do is they show a trailer for a game that it's coming out in 2 weeks, so that could be anything.
Yeah.
Um, but like my issue is like if you're gonna be at Summer Game Fest, cross promote.
Hmm.
Show maybe do like a little teaser at this, and then say, hey, in 2 weeks, we'll be at this. You'll see more at Summer Game Fest. We've seen this all the time at E3, where like, for example, EA would show off revealed Anthem at their EA Play press conference, and it said,
Right.
hey, tomorrow at the Microsoft press conference, you'll see gameplay for the first time, and then
True.
boom, there it is. Same thing with they did the same thing with Titanfall, stuff like that. We see that all the time. So if you're gonna have something major there, set it up here, promote it there. Like say, hey, do you want to see more of this? You want to know more about this? Come back in 2 weeks. You're going to see it at Summer Game Fest. Do that. But I don't know. Like I said, I already gave my opinions on it. But let's move on to we're going to run through this one real quick, real quickly here. Um, One game that I talked about that I thought for sure would be there, Last of Us Factions, whatever it's going to be called, um, wasn't there. And then they put out
Hmm.
a press release saying that they're going to need more time. And then they said they're working on a single player thing and they'll talk about it here soon. Um, well, then Jay Schreier had a article come out from Bloomberg here talking about how there's been a major setback with Last of Us multiplayer game. Uh, so a big thing we've talked about over time with a big reason why Bungie was bought by PlayStation is because they wanted to use them to help them with all these live service games they're making because
Right.
outside of maybe Fortnite, no one's better at this than them.
Hmm.
I mean, they've kind of like they're one of the first ones to do this for consoles as well too, live service stuff. But recently Bungie was showed up, checked out a lot of the stuff that's been going on with Last of Us factions, whatever it's been called. I'm just gonna call it factions for just for that state. Um, and a lot of concerns about kind of the direction of the game, long term
Right.
kind of stuff. Um, and kind of sound like like I said, there's a lot of issues, like a lot of concerns about that. And they moved the majority of the staff over to the single player game and left a small crew to kind of like reevaluate, rework on it, and kind of figure out if there's maybe something here that they could salvage. Um, so yeah, I don't know, Gables. Uh, I've talked about a lot. Like I can't wait to see what Naughty Dog does with the games of service because I think it'd be really cool. And Jeff Grubb kind of tweeted out after the story was released that everything you heard about this was that Naughty Dog was trying to make a live service game in the style of Naughty Dog, which, like I said, exactly what I want, and it just wasn't coming together. Kind of like it sounded like
Mm.
kind of like a square peg, round hole scenario.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, I would not. I don't not gonna say it's like likely or probable or whatever, but I would not be stunned if we just never see this game.
Yeah. I'm of the firm mind that there is the possibility to where this game may be outright canceled, or it may be used to parts into something else. But yeah, it's discouraging to see that it's not initially going to be coming out like anytime soon, if at all. And major setbacks and stuff do happen in terms of games development to where it may delay a game maybe a few months to a year, maybe 5 years. I mean, it really depends. But what is like noticeable in this regards is like if a lot of like Naughty Dog staff is like divulged and stuff around like a specific first party game or something that they're creating like a new IP or whatever the heck, it makes a lot of sense that they're going through that route as opposed to like having the multiplayer side. But you would think that they would have more people working on the multiplayer portion of like the Last of Us factions and stuff for the people that had been waiting for that game for years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were, and then the budget thing happened, and it sounds like it's just, well, let's just, we'll have this crew see if they can figure something out with it, and then let's let's go full bore into the single player thing in case it doesn't happen. But I mean, it's what I mean. We've been seeing this a lot over the last 5-6 years now, with like these big studios known for for these big huge single player games try to dabble into the multiplayer big live service game built around the multiplayer.
Right.
Like an Anthem or Marvel's Avengers, Gotham Knights, Redfall, stuff like that. Um, we see these games every time and time again. These they try to dabble in this thing and it just doesn't work. Doesn't come together. It's like you look at Marvel's Avengers, like that. Square Enix took $100 million bath on that game,
Yes, it did.
and ended up selling that studio for nothing, or not for nothing, but like they sold them and a bunch of other studios and IPs for a few
For
hundred
like
million
pennies on the
dollars.
dollar.
Yeah, for I mean, it's a lot of money, but for in the grand scheme of things, not as much as it should have been. Um, so I don't know. I mean, it's disappointing, but like I've heard some people like, oh, they'll release it or just release it, it'll be fine. But or even if it's mid, it's fine. But it's like
We
it's
don't want
not.
something that's mid. We want
Yeah,
something that's going to be concrete and working.
yeah. Like I don't think PlayStation wants that on the record, especially Naughty Dog, because Naughty Dog is their premier studio. Naughty Dog has a lot of autonomy. They have autonomy on what they work on. Uh,
Especially if you're some like company like PlayStation, you want to delve into these live service things. The one thing you want to avoid to do is releasing a dud out of the gate.
yeah, especially because Last of Us is probably bigger now than it ever was after the TV show. So the next big thing you put out is this multiplayer game, and it's not good. That's
Mm,
not what you want. So I don't know. I mean, like I'm incredibly bummed about it because like I was like, man, because like I just picturing in my mind what this game could have been. Uh, and I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure we'll hear more about it. It just sucks that it's kind of
I'm sure.
dropped
Yeah.
on a Friday afternoon instead of middle of the week, something like that. Because I would like to kind of, because I always like when this stuff kind of happens. I don't like what happens, but like when it does happen, I like to see like a lot of like developers outside of it or former developers that worked on big IPs kind of like throw their 2 cents in and like kind of what goes on in the gaming world, like behind this. Like this is why I feel like I learned the most about how games are made, is because of this kind of stuff and
Hmm.
it coming out on a Friday afternoon, holiday weekend. That just didn't really seem to happen. So, but maybe we'll hear about it more next week. But till then, we'll have to wait and see. But Gables, let's jump into what we've been playing.
All right.
Um, I've just been playing more of the same Gables. I have been
Same.
playing Tears of the Kingdom. I am over 40 hours in now, Gables. Uh,
Nice.
I found all the memories. Uh, I did all the towers. I got all the great fairies. Um,
Nice.
I got a certain master weapon.
Okay.
And today, finally, for the first time, after 40 hours, I decided to like maybe I should go get the camera. So I went to which is the first thing the first story thing they give you after you get the paraglider. So I finally now today decided like
You
maybe I
got the
should go.
hand glider for after 40 hours.
No, I got that like after like 10 hours, but
Uh,
I didn't do the mission after that until today, 40 hours later. So I just jumped in, went to the. I literally just went. I just seen the depths for the first time today, underground. Um, it's whatever. I really don't think it's as actually as cool as people made it out to be. Not gonna lie. Um, so kind of spent a couple hours down there, dicked around. It was funny is like I decided like a long time ago. I was like, today I was like, I'm just gonna finally jump in and just start doing some story stuff.
mm,
And instead, I spent like 6 hours just going around. I'm like, oh, I want to do this whole thing. I want to do this thing real fast. I went to like a stable and I bumped into Penn, my best friend, and he gave me a story mission about this woman over here. And her friend needs help. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll go help her real fast. And that turned into a whole story thing. And then I'm like, I end up now I'm on the Great Plateau. I'm like, well, I'm on the Great Plateau where the game started. Like the first game, Breath of the Wild started off. Well, I gotta go fuck around over here. And then that turned into like a bunch of other things. And then finally, I was like, 6 hours later, I'm like, I was gonna do the story shit, and I just spent 6 hours not doing the story shit. So yeah. Finally though, I did eventually jump in and I played the. I beat the first like of the four like areas that they give you
Oh,
at the beginning. So I went up to Rito Village and I did that thing there. Um, awesome. I will say though, like before all that, I did all the memory stuff. I will say if you like go into the mission to like I'm just gonna do all the memories, like do all the which memories are the tears things, which that's not really a spoiler. That's something you bump into right away. Uh, just for the don't look up spoilers, but just look up the guide of the order to do them in, because it really sucks when you start finding the shit out of order, and it
yeah,
just it sucks to watch out of order. So I found like the first four or so, and then I'm like I made the mission. I'm gonna just do these. I want to just get all the memories,
right.
and I eventually just decided I'm just gonna look up like what order to get them in, and then like I just did like I did all that. Like I just went. And I didn't really ever use fast travel until today. Until then, like I was walking to all these locations this whole time,
Oh, wow.
and yeah. So I've done like 60 shrines, um, no, 60 Koroks. I think I've 53 shrines is what I've done. I'm in the mid 50 area, I think. Um, so yeah, like I decided, like I said, do all just if you decide to go after the memories, like you want to make that your mission, just look up the order to do them in, because it, like I said, fuck, it really it spoils a lot of shit, ruins a lot of the stuff for you. So I wish like that they would do a better job of just like showing you to them in order as you find them instead of like
Right.
showing them to you out of order. Um, but yeah, like I said, first time going in, I just did the Rito Village area, the first of the four main areas you got to do, which
Yes.
that's not a spoiler because it tells you there's four things to do, uh, and that was fucking awesome. Um, I had like my eyes welled up a little bit, and the boss fight of that area because of the music was fucking awesome, and I believe it was I can't remember what that I Age of Space where that song was from, but the song in that part was awesome. Also, another part that kind of made me like kind of well up a little bit was there's a side quest where we gotta get this band back together. The
Hmm.
Stable Trotters is what they're called, and I finally got them all together. They did the last song, and it was a song from Wind Waker. And I was just like,
Oh,
oh my god, it's so good. And I was just like me like I was sitting there listening to him play, and I was just listening to him. Like this is after everything. I was sitting there just listening to him, and it was just like I fucking adore this. The music in this is so fucking good. This game is so goddamn good. Like I said, I'm 40 plus hours in, and I literally just did the first fucking area, just played the first fucking mission of the game. So I'm having a great time. I kind of wish I would have done some of the story stuff a little earlier because you you know you kind of you start getting some abilities in
yes.
here that make the rest of the game a lot would have made it like everything else was doing a lot fucking easier. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm having a fucking ball with this game. What about you, Gables?
I'm of the same mind too. I mean, I'm around 15 hours or so inside of that stuff. I'm actually a little bit past like Rito Village and stuff. I'm actually with like Tulin and stuff like that, going through the initial, getting towards like that initial area, trying to investigate that cyclone and whatsoever, that
Okay,
thing with
so
this wind.
you're going into the area I finished today then. Okay.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I pretty much went through and decided, hey, I actually want to go and delve into a bit in the story mission type of stuff and see what's going on here. So I did a little bit of exploring, I did a little bit of things, but I fastly realized it's like, you know what? I better go forth and do a lot of the story mission stuff first because I did exactly a little bit of what you were doing, that collecting a lot of the different memories. A lot of them were out of order and stuff. I collected maybe I've now like have like what 8 Korok seeds. I have like a couple of different types of like dungeons. I think I have like an I think I already have enough shrine stuff to where I can upgrade my inventory slot maybe a couple of different times and stuff if I want to. But I still haven't found that dude that improves the inventory slots yet.
You really? He's on the way to Rito Village.
I know. I'm probably just gonna look up where he's at just to get that out of my
Yeah,
fucking
just
system
I
so I
mean
can
that's
just
what I did
improve.
too. I walked right past him. I did the same thing, but yeah,
It's always the miss.
yeah. I mean, because the game is so open, yeah. But like he's after right after you bump into Impa, he's literally right up the hill. So
That's hilarious. Okay, well that gives me a little bit of things to look forward to. But other than that, though, yeah, I've just been just experimenting around like with different things and stuff. I met the sign guy not once, but like three different times over inside of that whole like iced area.
there's so many of them. There's so many.
There's so many and stuff, and I've just been doing the same thing, like wedging things together, like pasting things together, making sure that sign goes up. And he gives all these various like good course meals and stuff like that. And he gives me 20 rupees every time. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm getting health replenishing meals, and I'm also getting money. So I'm like, hey, okay,
Yeah. I will say one hint though. I made a
what?
giant mistake at the beginning of the game where I was selling off a lot of like the opals and ambers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, do not sell the amber in this game,
right.
uh, because when you if you want to get your gear up to like the top tier, like the level 3 and 4,
Uh huh.
you need a lot of amber to
Yeah, you
upgrade the
do.
material. And I sold a good chunk in the beginning of the game because I had a bunch, and like it was worth a lot, so I was selling them. And I regret it now because I have been stuck forever. Like I got like a couple of my gears are at like level 3. I got one at level 2, but I'm trying to get to level 4 now. Um, and I'm just like I need a lot. You need like 40 to just upgrade
Wow,
one, and I've got like 17. So and I probably
good to
sold a
know.
good another 30 or so. So do not sell that stuff. If it says it's for crafting or anything like that, just keep it. Just keep it. Unless it says specifically for selling, don't sell it. That's my more major tip for people.
You know, it's also interesting and stuff. Before I even went to Rito Village and stuff like that, I went and investigated that. A couple of different like flashback sort of things and stuff. Went with Impa inside that one initial forgotten temple and stuff, and just explored all around throughout there. It took me a little bit to like figure out initially what was I was supposed to be doing, which was going into that central hub and stuff to see
Mm.
where all these constellations and stuff like that are
Oh
spread
yeah,
across the map of where every single one of them are and actually where you get to and stuff. So I had to spend like a good solid like hour or some experiment, like just exploring every little tidbit of this forgotten temple, and I managed to like open a couple of different like chests that were like wedged like high up inside of, like little like corners of places and the walls and like this and that, and it's like they really hit a lot of different secrets in plain sight.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
exactly what they did with the original Legend of Zelda, and I'm seeing it more so evident inside of here in Tears of the Kingdom than I had, say like in Breath of the Wild. Because that game also too was open ended in terms of like the original game and had its own secrets in plain sight type of stuff. Only you really got to dig deep if you're going to try to find a lot of the stuff that you want.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Luckily for me though, like before I got to Infa and like found out what the tier stuff, I already been to most of the areas you're supposed to go to for that, and like I
Yes.
marked them on my map because I'm like these got to be important. So I put a little mark down. I have markers all over my map because when I see shrines in the distance, I'll mark them. I put like a star down. I have certain things that mean certain things like or Koroks that like I've ran into that I'm like I'll get back to you later. So I've got special marks down for them,
Right.
stuff like that. So like I had special marks down for like those tiers to find later. So it definitely made it easier later for me. Where I'm like, okay, well I already know where to go, so that's good. Um, but yeah, um,
But other than
game's
that,
good.
Tyler, I'll tell you what, man, the gameplay is still pretty freaking crazy. It's still pretty good. A lot of the presentation of it still looks pretty good to me, but I've been having a fun ass time just going exploring Hyrule, and now I'm getting to enjoy a bit aspects of like the story mode stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'd recommend maybe at least do the first area fairly early on, because like I said, it makes it makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
Um, because you get a nice little ability there that makes traveling a lot easier.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, just at least do that because I'm like, fuck, I could have. This would have saved me a lot of time wandering around, climbing around this entire world for 40 plus hours. Um, so yeah, like kind of the pains, like that's the kind of the greatness of this game though, is like definitely like there's no like you can do whatever you want. That's great, but also it's like you're wondering like, man, what kind of cool shit could I have right now if I just played this game in order? So, all right, if I focus on the story stuff earlier, but yeah, uh, who would have thought Gables Tears of the Kingdom, great game, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, stunner of the year, one of the best games of all time. So, yeah, Gables, is that gonna wrap it up for this week?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all this, please like, follow, subscribe. Look down links down below. Click on all those: Apple Podcast, Spotify, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Extra Life. Look at all those places. Sign up, review, share, tell your friends. We appreciate if you do all that for us. But I was Tyler.
I've been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, play some fun games. And thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables,
Yep.
happy 10 years, buddy.
Happy 10 years, man.
To 10 more.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be in our mid 40s.
Bring on the pain.
Bye, guys.
See ya.